Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of a series where I basically just talk about going ons, new things happening in DFFO. This episode, I'm actually have a lot to talk about because Global is getting Awakenings Batch 2 tomorrow morning, and Chapter 11, oh my god, drops the same day later that night. So lots of going on in DFFO Global, and I am so excited. I cannot wait. I've been looking forward to just Chapter 11's banner in particular for a really long time because Jecht is he's one of my favorites. Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy, and Jecht obviously plays a rather large role in that game if you've played the game. So he's one of my favorites, and I've heard all these wonderful things about Lillis Ax and how even in the Awakening era, she still holds her own even at level 50. After doing some research on her, yeah, she sounds amazing. So, real quick before I start, I just wanted to give this website a shout out. I'm not sponsored or anything. I found this website by just going onto the subreddit and kind of looking around and trying to do some research of my own. And this website's actually DissidiaDB.com, and it has everything you could ever want to know about DFFO. DFFOO, excuse me. And it's free, nonprofit. It's run by a dear lad or lass named Rem, and it has everything DFFOO related. It has a character database where you can click on them and look at, let's click on Rem, for example. You can look at, their stats table, command abilities, what they use, cure, swap turns, their passive abilities, what they get from crystal level ups, the gear, and the artifact passives. So those are characters. You can look at summons, you can look at the materials required for them. Just an insane amount of work put into this site. You can look at all the gear, pictures of the gear. I think there's a bestiary. So what this option is, the book. Yep. 548 entries. So, and you can swap between Global and JP on this site at any time, and it will show what, differences the characters have in terms of their abilities, their reworks, and JP and all that. So this site is a godsend. It really is. I would recommend this site to absolutely anyone that wants to do further research into, mechanics or characters, what gear they should target. Just insane amounts of work has been put into this site, and I gotta give it Rem a shout out. It's absolutely incredible what he's or she has done with this site. Like, look, even right here, JP has an event schedule. He's listing all the current events that are going, a timer, upcoming events, which he just updated, or she, not too long ago. Global has the same thing. Global currently hasn't been updated because the maintenance starts tomorrow. But after that maintenance, it will be updated. He data mines the game and updates it regularly. You can click on current events, see what's going on. So just outrageous amounts of detail and work. But real quick, so with Awakenings dropping, with Awakenings Batch 2 dropping tomorrow, I just kind of wanted to touch real quick on the 6 characters featured, just to give you guys kind of a quick rundown of what they'll do and my own personal thoughts on them. So let's start with Rem. So I figure the easiest way to do this is just kind of look at the passive abilities and what they have available to them past Crystal 50. So Rem actually gets some pretty good passives here. Her Cure Extend grants the attack up buff to all party members. That's great. She can kind of take the role of attack buffer party wide, which is really nice and will actually be really nice with Lillis Ax, who I will be talking about later, because Lillis Ax gives the party a max Brave Up buff. So that combined with Rem's attack up buff, for example, those two could work together really well. So, and then her Crystal 60 passive gives turns her HP attack to HP attack plus for 5 turns, raises all allies brave based on HP damage dealt. You know, that's great. Rem really is an interesting character because her swap turns ability gives both her and the target a speed up, allows the target to immediately get a turn, and has a tremendous EX. So she's really a character that if you get her equipment and put some time into kind of optimizing her a little bit, she can really do some crazy stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be awakening Rem quite yet, just because I have nothing for her. I don't even think I have a 15 CP. But I will be pulling, assuming that there is a Rem, Vaughn, and Yuna banner tomorrow. You know, the 3 magic users, just like they did with Awakening 1, where they had a banner with all 3 physicals attackers and then a banner with all 3 magic attackers. So assuming they do that in Awakening Batch 2, I'll definitely be making a draw on that or two, just to try and get some Rem gear or Vaughn's 35 CP. So that's Rem in a nutshell. Just real, you know, quick touches on him. Vaughn, he goes from kind of forgotten a little bit to just absolute, just ridiculous amounts of burst damage. He is probably the king of that. So, you know, 54 greatly raises speed while buffed. So he's even faster now. He was one of the fastest characters in the game, and now he's even faster. His Red Spiral and White Whirl Extend, Crystal Awakenings, 55 and 60 respectively, increase the max uses of them, and allow the second part of the attacks used, Vaughn, you know what I'm talking about, to activate after only 1 turn instead of 2. So he'll get 5 total uses of both, and they start the second part of the attack now after only 1 use. And they also increase the potencies of both. So Vaughn goes from early DFFOO Global life of being just a ridiculous burst guy to now where he just can just nuke. He's going to be like, I saw on the subreddit, someone said that Vaughn is basically going to be a cross-dressing Terra, and it's true. I mean, it's him and Terra, you put them both in a party awakened, and it's just going to be just, you know, just melt damage. I mean, just nuking left and right. And if you get his EX later on, I mean, even just, he can do so much damage in so little time. It's kind of stupid. So, yeah, Vaughn, I only have his 15 CP. I have an MLB, but I don't have his 35. But even with that being the case, I think I'm still going to awaken him just because he gets so ridiculously strong. Now, granted, Vaughn's name, his hat in the ring is burst damage. Super, super strong, but his lasting power in a fight is kind of limited. But for those few turns that he is just rocking at full strength, he's almost untouchable, especially at this point in the game where Terra is unequivocally the greatest DPS machine at the moment. Vaughn will be able to outclass her, so that'll be crazy. So, all right, the next character is Yuna, and Yuna is one of the characters where you need both of her weapons to really get the full benefit of her. Her 15 CP gives her AoE Asuna, makes her a brave battery to the whole party, and her 35 CP gives the party face protection buff, which raises their defense, and I think it's, you know what, actually, I can't remember. raises defense and something else. Int brave. Okay. So, and it also grants a bunch of brave. So that's really nice. But yeah, so Yuna at her Crystal Awakening 55 raises the brave, soon extends, and then also adds 1 turn to pre-existing buffs, which is really nice. And her Crystal 60 Awakening improves Cheer's effects, Faith Protection. It makes her a healer, which is really nice because now, Echo was, ever so valuable. Just using Echo as an example, because not only could she battery, but she could also HP heal. Yuna always kind of felt left out because, yes, she could battery and she could remove status effects, but not being able to heal HP was a big knock on her. And now with that 60 Awakening, she doesn't have that problem anymore. So that's a really nice one for her. And then her other 2 Awakening skills, raises initial brave, which is nice. She needs that for Isuna and Cheer, which scale off that. And then buff boost, which raises her max brave while buffed. She'll always be buffed, especially using Cheer, which gives the Faith's protection. So Yuna's really nice. I'm heavily considering deep diving her all the way as far as I can take her, just because I have both of her weapons. So I definitely think she's worth an investment. She's going to be a great brave battery. She can heal HP, assuming you get her level 60. But only if you have her 15 CP passive and her 35, because she really needs both to function well. Next we have Bartz. Bart, some people swear up and down that he's a really great character, and I'll have to take the word on it because, quite frankly, I don't have any of his stuff, so I can't use him. But he's really nice because he is one of the characters that gives the party invisible buffs. So that buffs where they don't have an icon, but they're always present and active. So like his Crystal Awakening 50, raises Int Brave, Max Brave Attack, defense of all party members after mastering both of his abilities. So that's really nice. But all of his Crystal Awakening things really kind of depend on mastering his stuff. So like, his Crystal Awakening 54 raises attack and speed after mastering an ability. His Double Hand Extend is really nice. 55 at Crystal 55. So it lowers the mastery of Double Hand by 2. So I believe that makes it 1 use. So it raises the hits to 2, grants potency increase, small max brave up, HP attack when brave is over 80%. Some really nice things. He can raise. He's really nice because he can raise party member stats with just visible buffs and boosts, and he's pretty valuable because of that, because he can synergize with buffers well, just because he's providing his own unique buffs. So Bartz might be worth a look if you have his stuff. So next, then we have Cetus, and Cetus, he's kind of slipped a little bit. He had his time in the sun in Global with his 35 CP dropping early. Everyone was using him. He destroyed content. He was kind of a monster, and he's dropped off a little bit since. His lack of power has really shown through. He's still a great debuffer, though, and his speed is really nice. His Awakening pretty much just improves what he already did well, which is he can hit a little bit harder, and he gets a little bit faster. Gets more max brave and attack. Both of his abilities get boosted in potency a little bit, and that's it. His Awakening is pretty bland, and the reason is because he's such an early awakened character. that he kind of suffers from, early character syndrome, where he was so early in Awakenings that they really didn't know what they were doing yet, and had to kind of scale him to the current content. So, especially compared to later Awakened characters, he's just outrageous. He's just outrageously under underperforming. It's just it's night and day difference. So, while Cetus is a great character, and his awakening does help, but it's definitely noticeable just how big of a gap there is between him and later characters. All right, so then the next character, I actually passed him earlier, funny enough, is Sessile, Dark Knight Sessile. So he is probably the best launcher after his awakening. I think that's probably safe to say. Of course, Cecil always has the ever-present problem of he's low in health, right? To use any of his abilities, he consumes health, which becomes more and more of a problem when bosses later on get, when they recover from break, their brave can be so high that they can just one-shot him instantly. So he's definitely a unit you have to build your team around. You can't just stick him into any team, and he just does awesome. You have to put time and thought into it. But he awakened can do some really good stuff. Like his Crystal Awakening 55, Darkness Extend, raises his potency of it. His 54 and 58 Crystal Awakenings raise his max brave. Crystal 58 is pretty underwhelming. Slightly raises max brave when HP is under 20%. You don't ever want to be that low in health in a big high-end fight, just because, the boss can just at any time just wipe him off the face of the earth. But his Crystal Awakening 60 is where it's at. So that turns his Valiant Blow to not only 2-hit brave, but now it turns HP and it raises its potency, which, with launches, having that extra HP attack go off before the launch, it's so nice. Gives you the extra damage. The 20% extra damage from the launch can scale off that. So his Crystal Awakening 60 is really what makes Cecile's Awakening work. It's really good. But he's also a character I would caution against investing into unless you have his weapons, as his 35 CP especially really, really helps increase the potency of Valiant Blow and making him click. And then I believe I have one more character. Let's see. Let's see. So it turns out that I actually covered all the Awakened characters, and I was just miscounting because I'm really good at life and counting and being smart. But anyway, so moving on. So that's all the Awakened characters from Wave 2. Me personally, I'm going to deep dive Yuna as far as I can. I might consider Vaughn, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to just get everyone else to level 51 just to get them up to level 60 in experience levels, just because I don't have anyone else's stuff. I have Cetus, both of his weapons, his 35's at 0 LB, and his Awakening is pretty underwhelming. I might awaken him later on if need be, if I'm really stuck on something and I need him, but I think aside from that, I'm probably going to hold off just to save those blue crystals for Ash when she appears on Wave 4 of Awakenings. So, with that out of the way, moving on to the Chapter 11 banner and characters. I am so excited. As I mentioned, Jex is a favorite of mine. And in this game, just watching gameplay of him, he looks so fun. He just looks so fun to use. His weapons turn his abilities into HP attacks if his brave is over a certain amount, 30% of his max brave. His 35 CP in particular makes it so that his second ability, if you're over 30% max brave, turns his second ability into a 4-hit HP attack, and then it activates again. So then he uses the exact same ability, his second ability, again at no cost, which is that's pretty unbelievable. It's really fun. So he is a physical DPS. Pretty much everything is geared around that. I'm not going to look at the awakening stuff just because Jack obviously isn't going to be awakened, but yeah, he self buffs. He gives himself physical attack up. He gives himself, I believe, just attack up. Medium max brave up, increases the potency of physical attack up, extends its duration, and yeah, increases the potency of attack up. So he gets physical attack up and attack up, which do stack, and he gives himself max brave up. So if you need a physical DPS, he's your guy. He can just wreck face. So on top of him being just a favorite of mine, he's also just really fun. A lot of versatility. You know, he has a bunch of passives that raise his attack, his max brave, raises his speed. So I cannot wait for Jack. He's going to be a lot of fun. However, as good as he is, this girl right here, Lillis Ax, is, oh my gosh, she's a bit broken when she releases, and is relevant far into the Crystal Awakening era. So the reason that she's so good is because she can debuff enemies with speed down. She's basically kind of like a magical Cetus, but at the trade-off of no defense down, she does some other crazy stuff. So she inflicts speed down. She can also increase her own speed. She batteries brave to the party. She inflicts attack and magic attack down on enemies. So if it's a magic attacking enemy, not only do they have attack down, but they also have magic attack down, which do stack. And she inflicts sap on all targets. So if you don't know what sap is a debuff, or status effect rather, that drains enemy brave based on Lillis Ax's max brave, and then gives her the brave. So it's kind of like poison, but way better. And it's AoE. She inflicts it to everybody. And then not only does she do that, but she also grants max brave up to all party members. I mean, and she gets like an AoE HP attack on her awakening. If that might even be available right off the bat. I hope it's not, because that would just make her even more hilariously broken. But speaking of more hilariously broken, so I'm sure you all are familiar with abilities like Trance, One-Winged Angel, etc., which on the final wave, if your HP is at full, Int Brave, Max Brave attack, and HP. Okay, Max Brave, HP, attack, and Int Brave, I think, all get a boost. That's right, yeah. They all get a 5% boost on the final wave if your HP is full. Well, Lillis Ax takes that a step further. She has a passive called Moonlight Butterfly, which is a trance or one-winged angel, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those, but she gives it to the entire party. She gives that effect to the entire party, and it's active as long as her HP is over 50%. That is hilariously broken, and you can stack it. You can get 3 Moonlight Butterfly 2-stars on her, which makes it just, it's hilarious. And it does stack with things like Terra's Trance and Sephiroth's One-Winged Angel. So you can have the boost from Moonlight Butterfly on top of the boost from their Trance or their, whatever passive. Lillis Ax I don't really know what they were thinking with her, because when she releases, she's just like, otherworldly. Like, she's just outrageous. So I've been hoarding gems for a long time, and I have a legitimate fear that when I'm chasing her 35, that I'm just gonna start just spending like crazy. I have to have her 35. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have to have her 35, and if I get Jex along the way, cool. If I don't, that's okay. As long as I get Lillis, that's 35. Everything will be okay. I have, I think, like 350 tickets and so many gems, and I'm not stopping until I get it. So I don't know if you guys needed any more incentive to pull, or if you're on the fence about her, but if you value my opinion at all, which you're watching my video, so you have to have at least a passing interest. I would just chase her. It's okay. You won't regret it at all, at all. And then the lame duck, the last one of the banner is Yuri from Crystal Chronicles. I really don't have much to say on him, just because I haven't ever seen anyone use him in any JP videos at all. Like, at all, which is really surprising because I've seen a lot, but I've never seen him used. And at first glance, he doesn't seem that tempting to use. I mean, his second ability grants him something called Shalinka's Prayer, which grants brave regen and HP regen, which is cool. That sounds great. But his first ability is a brave HP attack to hit, however, which also has a Bartz like missile effect. But however, if you use it when Shalinka's Prayer is inactive, it consumes 50% of your HP. Like, what? That sounds horrible. So okay. I don't think I would. I don't think I'd ever want to use this guy unless he has synergy. But he kind of seems like a character where you have to experiment with and learn his ins and outs to use him effectively. He gives himself, max brave up, and like I said, he kind of offers like a Bart's level brave hit with his Power of the Crystal thing. With the first hit, if you have his 15 CP, lowers it by half. The first hit and the second hit hits. But yeah, Yuri, just in my opinion, just because I love Jekt and Lillis Ax is just hilarious. She's just so good. Yuri is kind of like the odd man out, the lame duck. It reminds me a lot of the Lightning Papilomo Cyan banner, where Lightning and Papilomo were like super anticipated and everyone was really excited, and then Cyan was just sort of there and no one was excited by him. I mean, not no one, but you know what I mean. Like, just the hype for the other two was so big that Cyan just kind of looked awful in comparison, and I feel like that's definitely happening here with Lillis Ax, Jekt, and Yuri, at least for me. But yeah, as I mentioned, I am chasing Chapter 11's banner so hard. I will make sure I upload a video on that. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. Awakenings 2, Part 2, Chapter 11, Artifacts Dungeon for both batches of characters, the Awakened characters and the Chapter 11 characters, new co-op event. There's just a lot going on in this game right now, and I am so excited. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on some recent things happening in DFFOO. If you made it this far, then thanks. Congratulations. I don't know why you decided to stick around for so long, but I really appreciate it. I have a lot of fun making these, and I really don't worry about views. I don't care if a ton of people watch them because I have fun making them, and I feel like as long as I'm having fun and giving information that's accurate, I try to be accurate at least. I feel like then it's all worth it, and if even one person enjoys the video, then cool. But yeah, so thank you all for watching and listening to me ramble on about random stuff. And yeah, I will be uploading a draw video of whatever banners I hit tomorrow. Just real quick, I'd like to just reiterate that this DissidiaDB.com is a wonderful site. I use it almost every single day, especially for people that are new or are looking to maybe start the JP version of the game with EXs and need to know or want to know who's good or what EXs do or whatever. This is the site. This is it right here. It's just it's so full of information, just so full of good stuff. And the guy, that runs it, Rem, or the girl, I keep making that, I keep doing that. They don't ask for anything in return. Just, he says, if you want to support the project, feel free to donate. But that's it. It's not like there's ads. There's nothing on this site. Nothing crazy. It's just like, here's information. It's really well run. It's got pictures. It's got everything you need. I mean, what else can you ask for? Great site. Highly recommend it. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow in the co-op event. And for future reference and for future episodes, if there's any topics or anything you guys would like to hear me talk about or get my opinions or whatever, please feel free to suggest down in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to hear about or anything like that. If you have any great ideas, I'd love to listen, love to hear it. And if I see an idea I can work with it, then yeah, I might make a video on it. I really would like to continue this series, but I'm not too terribly creative. So any suggestions in the future about what to hit would be appreciated. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later on. Take care and catch you later.